Jonah and the great fish, running from God's mercy, a prophet's struggle with obedience and compassion. When God calls a prophet, the typical response is awe, fear, or reluctant obedience. But when the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, he chose an altogether different path he ran. God's command was clear. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Jonah 1-2, Nineveh was the proud capital of Assyria, infamous for its brutality and violence. To Jonah, it was not just a wicked city, it was the enemy of Israel. Why should God show them warning, much less mercy? Jonah could not accept such a mission. Fleeing the call, instead of heading northeast toward Nineveh, Jonah went in the opposite direction. He boarded a ship bound for Tarshish, as far away as possible from the presence of the Lord, but God does not abandon his purposes. A violent storm arose, threatening to break the ship apart. The sailors, terrified, each cried out to their gods and cast lots to find the cause of the disaster. The lot fell on Jonah. Confronted, Jonah confessed. He was fleeing from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He told them the only way to calm the storm was to throw him into the sea. Reluctantly, and after desperate attempts to row back to land, the sailors did as he said. At once, the sea grew calm, and the sailors offered sacrifices and vows to the Lord. Jonah, meanwhile, sank beneath the waves swallowed whole by the deep. But God had appointed a great fish to swallow him, preserving his life in the strangest of sanctuaries. A prayer from the deep. For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah remained in the belly of the fish. In the darkness, he prayed not a prayer of despair, but of thanksgiving. In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead I called for help, and you listened to my cry. Jonah 2-2, he recognized God's mercy that even in his rebellion, God had spared his life. At last, the Lord commanded the fish to vomit Jonah onto dry land. Preaching in Nineveh, once again, the word of the Lord came to Jonah. Go to Nineveh. This time Jonah obeyed. He entered the city and proclaimed, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. Jonah 3-4, to Jonah's astonishment, the people believed. From the king to the commoner, they fasted, put on sackcloth, and turned from their evil ways. Even the king decreed repentance, saying, who knows? God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. Jonah 3:09, and God did relent. He saw their repentance and withheld destruction. Jonah's anger and God's lesson, but Jonah was furious. He prayed angrily, confessing the real reason he had fled in the first place. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Jonah 4:2, to Jonah, Nineveh did not deserve mercy. He left the city and sat outside, waiting to see if God might still destroy it. There, God provided a leafy plant to shade him from the sun, which pleased Jonah greatly. But the next day, God sent a worm to wither the plant, and a scorching wind beat down on Jonah until he grew faint. God then spoke, you have been concerned about this plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. Should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people, who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and also many animals? Jonah 4:10-11, the story ends there open, unresolved, leaving readers to wrestle with the heart of God's mercy and the limits of human compassion. Themes in Jonah's story. 1. Obedience. Jonah's flight shows the futility of resisting God's call. Even in rebellion, God's will prevails not only over the prophet but through him. 2. Mercy. The mercy of God is not limited by human prejudice. He extends compassion even to enemies, proving that his love surpasses boundaries of nation, tribe, and worthiness. 3. Repentance. The repentance of Nineveh demonstrates that no people are beyond redemption. Even the greatest of sinners can find forgiveness when they turn toward God. Conclusion: the God of relentless compassion. The book of Jonah is not just about a prophet and a fish. It is about the clash between human resentment and divine mercy. Jonah wanted justice, but God offered compassion. Jonah sought escape, but God pursued him with relentless purpose. In the end, the story leaves us with a question: will we share in God's heart for mercy, even toward those we consider undeserving? The God of Jonah is the God who calls, forgives, and saves not just Israel, not just the righteous, but all who turn to him.